Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
All right, here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Very fun 3-hour program lined up today. In 30 minutes, we'll talk ACC football. Media Day is going on in that region of the country, specifically the Clemson Tigers. Chapel Fowler is going to join the program at that time. Wes Reynolds in an hour on golf this week and Big Ten football. VSiN host Will Hill coming up later on, MLB, football, NFL that is, and also, honestly, in like the last week, he took one of the worst beats that you're ever going to hear. And Derek Stevens in studio, big announcement today on the morning show. That's to close up shop, third hour of today's program. Paulie, how you feeling? Everything all right?
But today, yeah. You all right, my man?
Are you, did you, please tell me, I'm good. Please tell me that in recent days or going back to last week on vacation, you grabbed at least a nibble, somehow, some way on the Brewers to win this division.
Yes, Cubs were too high. Yes.
So you did something with
yes,
that?
I mean, 260 was crazy.
Okay, thank you.
With that, yes. But I didn't get National League like you and Mike Palm did. And I know with the blackjack draft, I thought they were in discussion, but I didn't think they'd go top 5, and they went number 4. But this is a great story, what's going on with the Brewers.
11 straight wins.
Yep.
Best record now, folks, in all of Major League Baseball. And last night was their 10th shutout of the season. Like, is this full season? I'm not asking for like 10 more shutouts, but is this unbelievable pitching sustainable? Like through the end of September?
Don't you think the Phillies have a better rotation, though?
Ooh.
I would take that. That's why I was high on the Phillies. Because you get in a playoff time, and you're going Wheeler, Suarez, Sanchez, who are you going to throw out there? That's going to be tough to beat. But,
yeah, I lean yes.
Okay, but I mean, how big of a Peralta fan are you? But what Woodruff's done, and then the kid goes tonight?
Yeah, right.
He hasn't started since that great start against the Dodgers. That's 2 weeks ago. So we've been waiting on Mizorowski here after that great performance against the Dodgers, and he goes tonight as well. But to do this in 11 in a row and what they've done and take care of Seattle, and it's to be, how about going 6-0 against the Dodgers?
I know.
This is wild.
So last night, probably about 2 minutes before first pitch, I noticed that the number just kept moving on Seattle. I'm like, they're taking more money? This makes no sense. I had to fire on the Brewers in that game. Grabbed them plus 110, and they were getting no hit, through 5? That was a great pitching matchup through 5 between Kirby and Woodruff, and then the team just exploded. They eventually won 6-0. And tonight, I'm probably going to do the same thing. Now, I understand that Gilbert has been much better at home than he is on the road. The numbers reflect that. In fact, he's like Cy Young at home, basically. His numbers are way worse on the road. But if this it has moved a little bit anyway today in the Brewers' favor. But if the Mariners take more money and the Brewers creep up to like plus 110, plus 112, 115, I have to play it at that price. I disagree with the number.
Yeah. This is like Toronto, New York, part 2. How are the Blue Jays dogs in all 5 games?
There you
go. They won
go.
all 5, right? But they're finally the favorite today. So, yeah, I'd take the Brewers as well and keep this run going. And a lot, to your original question is, it's going to be great to be on the air next Thursday. But what happens at the deadline? Do the Brewers make moves? Does Seattle get a stick? You would think all these teams would be in on Suarez, who hits a home run every night, and he could be available. So what happens at the deadline also could determine what happens with some of these races in August and September.
Yeah, I want to run some of these division prices by you, Paulie, and definitely shop around in the NL Central. Keep in mind now, the Brewers, as of right now, going forward, they have the 7th hardest remaining strength of schedule in all of baseball. The Cubs have the 4th easiest. The Cubs, I'll give you a couple of national sports books, and I'll go here locally as well in Las Vegas to give you some comparisons. The Cubs are minus 145 at FanDuel and at DK. The Cubs are minus 178 here at Circa. They're minus $2 down the street at Westgate. Mm-hmm. Still minus $2.
Yeah.
So you can still find the Brewers around plus 150 in the neighborhood if you're in the Las Vegas area, if you have access to Circa or the Westgate. I'll give you one in the American League because I'm putting together more cross-sport parlays now that the NFL season is coming up. The Astros won again last night. The Mariners were shut out by the Brewers. The Houston Astros have the easiest schedule remaining in all of baseball. Mm-hmm. So they are minus 525 at the Westgate. They're minus 410 at Circa. They are minus 320 right now at DraftKings. That's too low, Paul.
They were a lot lower than that the last couple days. That's crazy, the big move. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, but we've seen a big jump in the last couple days with that.
If I had
to
access,
win the division, yep. And,
sure.
Valdez is $1.20 tonight. I like him a lot. They won his last 12 starts. Personally, he's 9-0 with a 1.91. Here we go.
Agreed. I like him.
Yeah.
That number I think is too cheap, and I think that his K prop is juicy as well. But if you want to build some same game parlays at DraftKings specifically, I'd throw the Astros on there. Minus 320 is one of the legs.
I like that. Yes. I also think this is wide open. What could happen? Detroit's going through their struggles, although they have an easy schedule the rest of the way and should be able to get the 1 seed. Let me throw 2 teams at you, one from each league. How about Texas? Tough schedule, most difficult remaining schedule for the contenders in the American League. Can they get a stick at the deadline? Great that you have DeGrom and Eovaldi, what you have. Good at home, but you're getting finally over 500. Can you sweep the A's? You're 3 back of the wild card.
That's not a
you want
big
anything?
number.
Yeah. I'm thinking also how dangerous they could be if they get in. Because you're talking about a series when you're going DeGrom and Eovaldi and guys with minuscule ERAs.
Sure, because what would be the narrative on Texas if, in fact, by next Thursday, this team adds like a big bopper in the middle of that lineup, right? And you're going to look back and say, oh, damn, I should have grabbed 25-1. But that's why at this time of year, it's always such a big gamble. You don't know which teams are, unless some GMs will flat out come out and tell you. I know a couple of years ago, the GM for the Astros basically said, way before the deadline, we are absolutely going to add another pitcher. And they went out and got Verlander, I believe, that year at the deadline.
Yeah. So it's frustrating what's going on in Seattle. They get this great rotation, but now the bats have come alive, although Raleigh's in a bit of a slump. But can they do this enough offensively and sneak in the playoffs? Boston also has a tough schedule. And Texas, 2 back in the loss column, by the way, of the Red Sox. The Rays, who are in a funk all of a sudden, they're only a game and a half back. And how about Cleveland? 3.5 back. They lost 10 in a row, but now have won 9 of 11.
Yeah, and they have one of the hottest offenses in all baseball now.
Yeah, it's baseball, right?
They've scored the second most runs in baseball going back, I think, the last 10 games.
And then the team I'm going to give you in the National League, the Padres. 3rd easiest schedule left in the National League. 35-13 against teams with a losing record. Big win last night. They're up 3.5 games for the final wild card spot. As they said today, we are built for the second half.
Agree.
Last year, they had the best record post-All-Star break. They took off and went 43-20. So they did it last year. They're talking a big game that they can do it again. The organization has said they're going to make moves at the deadline, and they're 3.5 up on the reeling Cardinals, and the Giants are a mess right now. Also 3.5 back as San Francisco has lost 6 in a row and 18 of 29. So I'm built for the second half. I did it last year. And I have one of the easiest schedules left. And I'm good against bad teams.
So are you talking about betting them to win the National League? Do you want to take a slice of them to win their division? They are as high as 11-1.
Like the last 2, yes.
You want both
National League, yeah. Go National League and then to win the division. Because I think they could catch the Dodgers, and the Dodgers shouldn't be that high. They shouldn't be minus 2,200.
And don't forget about this. They are getting Michael King back in August.
That's right.
Right around the corner. So I was reading a story on them today that they could actually be sellers and buyers, meaning they want to bail on Vasquez in the rotation, get him out, but then add a piece or two that would actually help him out more than that. So I can see that happening. They've been active over the last couple of years. Don't forget, this team has made runs in the playoffs before in recent years with the same core, basically. And last year, they were facing a bullpen game against the Dodgers. They had LA dead and buried in that series. And they went, and the Dodgers pitching stepped up big time. Yamamoto in Game 5, and the Padres sticks went completely silent, and they couldn't score a run. They had that series in the bag, and they couldn't finish him off. They could not sweep the leg, and so I think they kind of have that taste in their mouth still. And again, with a super active like GM over the last handful of years, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I mean, to have a piece of the Padres at a pretty nice number right now in the playoffs, you're telling me they can't do damage again? Sure, they could. How about this? The Blue Jays now 4 up on the Yankees.
Clinched the tiebreaker with one more win
Over this team.
Let's make it 5. It's a 5-game lead then.
Sure. So their SOS is middle of the pack. They're as low as minus 105 at DK to win their division. Here at Circa minus 125. Westgate has a minus 140. So in Las Vegas, books are much higher on Toronto than they are on the Yankees. For example, you can grab the Yankees here at Circa at plus 150. Nationally, FanDuel and DK only have plus 115 on the Yanks.
Yeah, absolutely fugazi, that team. Again, look at the record without Fried.
Look at the record against AL East teams.
That too, yes. Right.
They have the worst record of all 5 teams in their division.
Mm-hmm. And maybe the Red Sox pull a surprise and make a big move. They should. But
yeah, they should.
Don't know. That's a guessing game about what they're going to do next week, if they could make a move.
Yeah.
But certainly that was surprising what Buehler did. He was great. They lost the game. First walk-off catcher's interference since 1971. And Phillies get the win 3-2. Wheeler was great again.
What a way to lose a game.
Yeah.
If you're the Sox.
Yeah.
You can.
That's happened a bunch to Alvarez, as I understand it. And he also had a pass ball, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. I can't believe that's happened before. It was Johnny Bench in 71.
You never know which way it's going to go for certain teams after the All-Star break.
Uh-huh.
Narratively speaking here, you could absolutely say that the Red Sox caught the break at the exact wrong time. Right? It hasn't affected the Blue Jays for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's complete garbage. It has nothing to do with it whatsoever. But they were red hot, one of the best teams in baseball going into the break. And then all of a sudden,
that's right.
There it comes, bam.
I agree with you.
Losing and not being very good on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't lose a game like that.
Yeah, well, the schedule's been tough, too. But
yeah, Cubbies here.
You don't want to break when you're winning 10 in a row.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN. The Sports Betting Network. Up next, the NFL. This team finally has some hope, but the league did them zero favors with the schedule. We'll tell you which team it is coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is your spot. Paulie ACC Media Days are ongoing, and we'll hit it here as we head out to the progressive guest line. Chappell Fowler joins the program now. He covers Clemson football for the state newspaper. Chappell, thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How are y'all?
Doing really well. I'm looking at the odds right now to win the ACC title game at DraftKings, and now Clemson, they're as low as plus 105. They're ahead of Miami at plus 380. SMU is plus 850, same number as Louisville. Does that sound like the proper pecking order, in your opinion, maybe at or near the top of this league?
I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, I like to see Louisville up in there. I think, they were in the title game, 2 years ago, kind of unexpected. I saw them last year come into Memorial Stadium and really just run all over Clemson in a way that I don't think anybody expected was going to happen. They have a really good running back in Brown. So I'm not surprised to see them up there. I think Clemson, Miami, SMU, Louisville, like we just mentioned, probably one or two kind of random sleeper teams. Maybe that's a Georgia Tech. Maybe it's somebody else. That's pretty fair, I'd say, for the pecking order. And again, not surprised to see Clemson as like a smashing favorite up there at the top, given who they have coming back.
Well, there is a lot of preseason hype to this team. I know Paul is going to run this down. You brought this up a couple times. Phil Steele has them ranked where?
Second
overall in the country, which is incredible. So how, in your opinion, how many true contenders will Clemson have in this conference this year?
I think it'll probably boil down to like two. In terms of teams that can get to that title, it's easy to start 4-0 in the ACC. It's harder to finish 8-0 or 7-1 or whatever it is that gets you to that championship game and then beat what, by all accounts, seems like it's going to be Clemson on the other side, which is a team with a lot of NFL talent back and guys who came back to make one more run at this thing. So, I'd say from that group that we just mentioned of like Miami, SMU, Louisville, it's probably not a surprise to see one of those teams as one of those other true ACC contenders. I'd probably lean SMU off quarterback alone because I saw Kevin Jennings totally will SMU from down 21 points in the fourth quarter against Clemson last December and get them right on the edge of winning that game and being the ACC champion in their first year in the league. Not as hot on Miami, but of course they're loaded with talent as always. Between one of those three teams, Miami, SMU, Louisville, and then again, like I mentioned, I'm sure there's going to be some random dark horse that'll get super hot. I mean, nobody really expected SMU to be in the ACC title game about to beat Clemson last year, right? So whether that's a Tech or Duke or I don't know, Florida State, maybe Castellanos gets really hot. I think it'll end up being two contenders, but no idea which ones. But I guess that's kind of the beauty of the season and why we play the games.
Well, they get SMU at home October 18th. They return 17 starters, but I think your objective here that the expectations are a little crazy. Like the second overall ranked team in the Steel's magazine. Is it because of how well the offense played in the Texas game and against SMU?
Yeah, I think that Texas game, like, I can't think of a loss that provided a team with more like positive vibes and national good perception heading into the offseason. Like, I do think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on Clemson as a tier one, like runaway title favorite or right up there with Ohio State, Texas, whoever you want to put in that top list. Like, this team was good last year. They had a really good quarterback that's back. They have a lot of NFL guys that are back and are probably, gone to the league after their junior year next year, guys who were juniors and came back for their senior year, ton of returning production. At the same time, they were 0-3 against the SEC. They lost to Georgia. They lost to South Carolina. They lost to Texas. The only ranked team they beat all of last year, ranking at time of kickoff, was SMU in the ACC title game. So, they've taken care of business against the teams they're supposed to take care of business against. They haven't exactly done that against the best of the best last year, and then kind of dating back a few years. Like the last time they had a big SEC win like that, I don't know. You think about comparing the top of the ACC to the top of the other conferences. If you want to truly feel like you're a national contender, you got to beat and play those good SEC Big Ten teams. Obviously, the LSU season opener provides a lot of opportunity for that. But I think 2's a little high. There'll probably be a preseason top 10, probably end up, I'd guess, in the AP somewhere around 4 to 7, 5 to 8 range, which I think is fair. But number 2, personally, if I was a voter, that they would not be right up there on my ballot.
You'd be shocked, though, if they don't make the playoffs. They're minus $2 to make the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they don't make the playoff, this season is a pretty resounding, I don't want to say massive, but I mean, this is a pretty resounding disappointment. If they don't make the playoffs, that is a huge letdown. And obviously, I mean, in my opinion, like a huge shortcoming with who they have coming back, the money they've invested in this roster. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty safe bet. And, it seems like they're on path to do that. All you have to do is get to the ACC title game. I mean, last year you saw them lose an ACC game, still kind of backdoor their way into the title game, take care of business. 3 hours after they lose to South Carolina on their home field, they're still in the playoff. Because of this ACC title game they end up winning. So, just get to the last game in Charlotte that first Saturday in December and see what happens. Generally, their talent has won out over the years. If you look at how many ACC titles they've won, despite being maybe not even as loaded as this team is. So I think, just that automatic bid makes them a pretty solid contender to make the playoff. Past that, I don't know. But I think making it is kind of the floor for this team to feel like they've done something successful.
Totally fair. All right, follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Chappell Fowler, he covers Clemson football and ACC for the state newspaper. So Klubnik's going to get a lot of run and a lot of support in the Heisman Trophy market, and he might pull it off. I think he's good enough. If they have a solid enough season and he puts up those numbers, he can be right there. What other parts of the team do you think can be a true strength going into the season?
I think defensive line can. That this is a spot that Clemson a little bit mismanaged last year. Part of that was just bad luck with injuries. Peter Woods, who's one of the names that you'll hear as a potential first-round pick from Clemson, got chop blocked by an App State tight end in week 2 and was never really the same. It took him a while to get back up to full speed. He was really good in the opener against Georgia, playing a lot of defensive end. Clemson has moved him back to defensive tackle, which is his natural position, and in my opinion, where he probably should have been playing all of last year instead of trying to swing him out to defensive end to kind of address a lack of depth there. But, he's back in his normal position. TJ Parker, that's another guy who could be like a top 10 pick if things go well this junior year for him. He's in better shape. He kind of came into 2024 a little out of shape. He's admitted that publicly. So with those two guys back and healthy, and then you add the Purdue transfer, Will Helt at defensive end, that's kind of a big shot in the arm for a team that, like I mentioned, was really, really just not deep and not skilled at defensive end at the level they needed to be last year. behind Parker. I think that's a group that they can really lean on outside of Klubnik.
Realistic amount of wins this year, 10, 11 in the regular season?
I'd say 10.
Okay.
Last year, 9-3. I'd say their roster this year, mostly the same as last year, is good for that many wins, if not one more, the ball bouncing their way. I forget this sometimes. They were a poor Cade Klubnik pass and film off a bobble and South Carolina interception away from tying that game against South Carolina, sending it to overtime in the last week of the regular season. So, they were right there. That was a close loss. Obviously, the Georgia loss was not close. The Louisville loss was not really close. They had a few close wins. They had some good turnover luck. But I'd say, I think 10 is about where I'd settle on as a number that I'd expect. I think, 9 maybe puts a few alarm bells in fans' heads about playoff potential. But I think 10's pretty fair.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You can follow him on X. He is at Chappell Fowler, and he covers Clemson football in the ACC for the state newspaper. Thanks, Chappell. That was great. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Yep.
Thank you.
And he joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line.
Well, he's right. You 0-3 against the SEC. You start with LSU. You close with South Carolina.
Yeah.
Those games are massive, especially to start against LSU. You're at Louisville.
Sure.
The media, Paul and Phil Steele down on Louisville, which Moss, the quarterback, he has them down in the ACC.
I like him, but...
Yeah, but they also have to play Clemson and SMU back-to-back weeks. They go to Miami. They go to SMU. I'm high on SMU. Like the quarterback, like their coach. And come on with Miami. I can't do it till you can prove you can stop something.
No, I'm not going to be able to either.
So
no.
Beck looked good. He was saying all the right things, but they start with Notre Dame on that Sunday, August 31st. But until you can go out and stop someone on a regular basis, I can't take you seriously. And Miami is getting too much respect here to be plus 380 to win it. And yet SMU, who made the playoff, is plus 850.
Thank goodness for Clemson, by the way. Dabo gets a full week to prepare coming off the bye for Bill Belichick in North Carolina. That's on the road. I'm not even joking. Like, that could be, if they didn't have a bye week there, if they played September 27th at North Carolina after the game against Syracuse, that to me would have trap game written all over it. And, Belichick would draw up a typical hoodie special.
Yeah.
They're 40-1 to win the ACC.
I know. I'm interested to see what they look like. Yeah.
And as he talked about, everybody's down in North Carolina. I get it. That makes sense. But are you going to be surprised if one of these teams, from the middle of the pack or down to, North Carolina, come and they're hey, knocking on the door to make the ACC title game? Up next, win some, lose some, and we will dust off Top 5 Tuesday with a good one. Movie villains that win, next on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Love our weekly conversation with the owner and the CEO of Circa Las Vegas, Derek Stevens, Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific time. Joins us here in studio, as he does today. Good to see you again. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing really well.
Good.
Doing really well. So over the weekend, Circa Las Vegas offered some incredible promotions, right? Open bar for a couple of hours one of the nights. You were giving away a massive amount of free play in a short amount of time. What was it, $5,000 over 15 minutes? Slottapalooza was the name that you gave it over the weekend. How was it received?
We thought we were trying to make something out of a nothing weekend, and it turned out to be spectacular. It was a ton of fun. All the slot manufacturers brought out some new games or recently, delivered games here and around town. Customers love getting on these new games. People were waiting in line to see these new games. It was awesome. I got to do a couple of videos on a couple of the new ones. It was pretty fun. And then the slot tournament, 972 people or something like that in this all-day slot tournament on Saturday was fun. And then, and then the main event of the evening. That was a lot of fun. So it worked out great. We're doing it again.
I was going to say, like when? Like next year? Or
we're going to do it next year. But matter of fact, now I can say this because it was so good we immediately called our lawyers yesterday because we got to trademark this. We got so it's pending now. So it's good.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because I wanted to ask you. Like, this is something because I know how it went. I wasn't here, but I heard. I was out of town. And you're like, oh my God, the parking garage was at capacity at 6:00 at night.
Yeah.
This is something that other casinos should take away from and say we need to do the same thing.
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky on something, and I quickly rounded everybody up and say, hey, we better start talking about this. I think everybody thinks it's a good idea, but this is an idea that's you can't defend it. Everybody's going to want to do it, so let's at least lock up the name and the concept and all that. It was a lot of fun.
I don't know about that. See, why is this your vision? Of this is I want to get people in. And I'm going to give stuff away because he's talked about his frustration before about how a lot of these places cut down on free play and don't offer that.
God,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So why do you think you decided to go this route and say I'm giving away 5,000 slot play all day tournament? Oh, by the way, open bar 7 to 9.
Yeah, open bar because you got to look at somebody's got to look at things backwards. It's like when we do on Survivor. You say, okay, you got to go 20-0, but somebody's got to look at it backwards. Like, well, that means there's only 12 teams you can't take. Sometimes you got to look at it the other way. Open bar. How much is it going to cost you per hour? Go the other way. How bad can it get? Come on. I mean, there's only so many beers you can give out in 2 hours. It's all right. We'll be all right.
How was it, by the way?
It worked out great.
It was great.
Which was also great. We had open bar for 2 hours. Here's the math on this. We actually did more in beverage sales like after it closed than we would have normally because there were so many people in here. So we gave away, we had open bar for 2 hours. Our revenues were actually up on the day. So it worked out pretty good.
Wow, there you go.
Well done. I could not believe how busy it was and the energy in this place for the Pacquiao fight. So you had UFC at the pool, and then you had the Pacquiao fight in the sports book. It was bananas in here.
Yeah, it was. It turned into a little bit of a sleeper weekend. We didn't know what we were getting into, but man, that was as packed as I think I've ever seen the place. It was a great weekend.
I mean, here's the thing. Pacquiao's 46 years old. It doesn't matter. Guys with a name that big still, when you put him up on a big screen in a place like this, right? I mean, that's going to attract a ton of people because boxing events, they're like few and far between. And I get it. It's not like he's in his prime anymore, far past it. But that's still, I mean, you saw it yourself, right? I mean, people were standing room only here.
Yeah, when they announced the score, I was like, oh. Yeah, because a lot of people I thought he won. Everybody thought Pacquiao won. I'm like, I don't know. So I told Nicole literally like 20 seconds before, go, watch out for the draw. The draw's alive.
Yeah.
And a majority draw. Tim Cheatham came in. What did he come in at? Like 114, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So two judges at 114, so majority draw. People loved it. For the house, I'm glad we got the draw. The draw was actually a rare occurrence. Draw was good only because Pacquiao would have been really bad.
Really bad. I was going to say, typically on fights like that, wouldn't you take it in the shorts if it's a draw?
You usually would, but this was just so one way. Pacquiao, that a draw was a better outcome.
Okay. Is this, you put this on social media. Is this how the day started? Someone hit a $400,000 jackpot on Frankenstein?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was like 20 minutes before we officially kicked off our festivities for Slottapalooza, and somebody hits a $400,000 jackpot on Frankenstein. Yeah, it was like 408 or something like that. Yeah.
Now, where is that? Is that one of the?
I've never played that game.
Yeah, that's not a new one, is it?
It's pretty new. It's upstairs, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how the game works?
No.
No.
Absolutely none. No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I have no idea. Yeah, no idea. Okay, so the last time you were on, you said we're going to come back in. There's going to be 6 Grandissimo. Well, now we turned our head and there's 8.
There were 6 this morning.
What happened?
Yeah, all of a sudden we had 2 different situations happen. Somebody walked into Silverton and put $100,000 down. So that was number 7, and then we had an individual that walked down here, right behind you. You were probably on,
yeah,
and came in with $100,000. This was an interesting one because this fella actually wired in $300,000 yesterday, came into town. Like, we have nothing planned for him at all, nothing. Not in a good, just he bought a room, nothing, like just very low key. comes to the cage, gets his money, walks up, gets into that. Now he's hanging out for a couple of days
Did
with
you
a couple $100,000 in his account. So he's going to have he's going to be hanging around. So
was he surprised when he found out about the package overall that comes with it?
no, but he was just low key guy.
Really? Okay,
he booked
that's
his own
great.
room. Now he's talking to a couple. Yeah, maybe I'll move my stuff over to the other.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was really good.
A guy. So for people who don't know, the Silverton, I like that spot. I always have. It's over by the South Point, south end of the strip, a little bit, kind of on its own. A guy walks in there, did not give you a heads up at all. Here's $100,000. I want to hop in.
He didn't give us a heads up, but I will tell you one thing. He knows what he's doing. He is one of the first 6, so he doubled up. So it's the first person we have with 2 entries. So he entered like 3 weeks ago, and then now decided to take 2 positions. So this fellow was in it a couple weeks ago.
Okay, and that's the maximum. You get 2.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
What are you thinking now? 30, 40?
Oh no, I'm still trying to get to 15. I know we got another guy coming in this weekend, so
All right.
that'll get us to 9.
Yeah, 6 shy of
It's
the
not even
overlay.
August. Why are you gloomy, Gus?
Yeah.
I'm not gloomy, Gus. I'm just it's the first time we did something.
Yeah, you're
I'm
blowing out
sweating.
the
I'm
water.
sweating out $1.5 million. Well, now we're down to sweating out 700,000. So yeah.
We talked to 3 people who are getting in. I trust them.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
3 more.
Yeah. If I made the number 29.5 right now, and you were forced to make
bet.
$1 million bet on it, would you go over or under?
Oh, if I was forced to make it, I would. I never had aspirations like we could hit, so I'd probably go under.
You'd probably go under
we-
29.5.
And I don't like going under on anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know about that. What you guys have? You got guys? You
I
got
got
a few guys?
information. I have information,
there we go.
too. Right. How about
I got a guy. You know what I love is in the British Open. You hear about one of our buddies, Banksy's customer?
No.
He hit the British Open for some crazy tournament on DraftKings where he was at. He hit it, won a couple $100,000. He called us up, and he goes, "Hey, I'm going to take 100 of that. I'm getting in Grandissimo." So I'm like, that
Is
was
that
pretty
right?
cool. Yeah. One of you've met him before out here. I
Okay.
don't want to say his name
Okay.
on the
Yeah,
air,
yeah, no
but no, he was in about him and all his buddies. They come out like 8 guys. Last year, I think
Wow.
they bought like 40 survivors. So they're well known around here. Great guys, big hockey fans. Banks' customer, but yeah, the guy hit some tournament on DraftKings for the Open, and it was a $200,000 payout.
Very good.
Good for him. I can't believe the listener who came to town and did the Grandissimo, then did the Full House here, and then went to the Westgate and did 10 College, and then did something else over there and dropped over 130,000 on all the contests.
Yeah.
That's madness too. I met him. Great guy. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, well, a lot of these bettors who we don't know have bankrolls that are pretty large,
Yeah, that's what we're finding.
decent size anyway.
Yeah.
Have you heard from any poker players since the World Series of Poker just got over with?
The fella that came in third, I know he's been living over at the Golden Gate for a few days, chilling out, celebrating.
Dunaway? From Texas? Is that guy?
I don't recollect the name,
Okay.
but he was at the final table. I think he got third or fourth. I could be third or fourth, something like that. But he's hanging out over there.
Oh, right.
Nice guy. But I've not heard of any poker players that have reached out saying that they're getting in at this point.
Okay. They will.
I would assume.
That's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
for
assume.
sure. All right, follow the money here on VSiN. The Sports Betting Network will continue with Derek Stevens, owner and CEO of Circa Las Vegas. Is he concerned at all about his Detroit Tigers in a little bit of a funk? We'll ask him next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here with Derek Stevens, owner and CEO of Circa Las Vegas. We had some breaking news earlier today on our morning show, VSiN by the Books, with Dave Ross and Jensen Lewis. They are going to be moving that show from Circa Las Vegas to your brand new property at the Mint in Kentucky. I saw the pictures. Mike Palm sent me a bunch of them today. I've seen like the renderings online.
Look great.
The place looks outstanding. So they're going to be getting this basically in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's going to look. It's going to be great. We're excited about it. Franklin, Kentucky, right on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky, kind of like a northern Nashville suburb. But yeah, we built like a little smaller version of what we got right behind us. It's basically one level. It's an expansion of their casino. Their casino, by the way, you'll go nuts in this casino. It's unbelievable. The volume at this place, it blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. Now remember, in Kentucky, there are no table games, so it's just what we would consider to be slot machines, but they're really not slot machines. They're these HHR machines, which, an HHR machine, you don't have W2Gs at 1,200. So you can have bigger jackpots. And because it's a regional casino, and, it's right up the I-65, the parking lot around this place is massive. And this is also where they have the horse races, right?
Yeah,
I think 6 or 7 races this year. The parking lot's massive. Think about a parking lot to handle like the crowd of horse races. Well, the thing's filled every week because of the casino. The slot volume is huge. Blows away what we got here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the volume is tremendous. So I'm just excited about opening up the sports book there. I think it's going to be a great place for people to come hang out, bet sports on a given day. It allows us to kind of tap into the Tennessee market. Tennessee's got some, I'd say, suboptimal regulations. You can't really put a good line out in Tennessee. We don't want to be in Tennessee, but the customers will come across the border for sure. So that's kind of what we're excited about.
Have you been to Nashville often?
I've started going to Nashville because of this project.
Sure.
We started up a year and a half ago. Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh man, I mean, it's one of the fastest growing cities in America. A lot of similarities to Vegas, I would say. No, I've had a great time in Nashville, and again, we're trying to kind of tap into that market a little bit, and if we can get some Nashville money coming into our Circus Sports accounts, that's going to impact the way we're looking at our lines overall.
Yeah, I love Nashville. I think it's a home run location for you guys. Going to absolutely dominate.
Well, I hope so. Sure hope. Yeah. We got a good team. We're ready to go.
Is anything go when you sit in these meetings with your team about creativity and imagination? You're doing Love Island. You put something on social with the babies. Derek Stevens is a baby with that too. So do you want to talk about thinking outside the box? How about open bar 7 to 9? Let's give away 5,000 in 15 minutes in free slot play, and let's do a Love Island promotion, and the place was a zoo.
We determined that everybody else is singing the blues, that Vegas is a little bit slow. So we were probably a little more open on some of these ideas and trying stuff this month. And I think we got lucky. Love Island was unbelievable. Now also realize on Love Island, everybody's saying, "Oh, really great idea, Love Island." I was the hesitant one on Love Island. The key thing about Love Island, though, is that it's on the Sunday night that Major League Baseball takes off for the All-Star game, right? There's not a single sporting event out there.
Okay.
So we've got nothing to do.
Okay.
So the barrier to like break into Stadium Swim was as low as it could get.
Okay.
It was like, come up with an idea, okay. It'd be an easy one. So it got there, and then all of a sudden we figured out that this thing was going to be pretty hot. And I think it was our best ratio, Paul. We hit a ratio of 70% female, 30% male. That's something Stadium Swim doesn't see on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
So we are happy about breaking that record. And we were sold out. So it was good.
Wow. Did you go, Paul?
Wow. No, I didn't.
Oh,
I did. I loved it. I never saw the show before ever.
Really?
And the vibe in there was like the way people were cheering. A guy would come on, a couple would come on. They're cheering like it's the second quarter of the Super Bowl. Okay. It's unbelievable. People are wearing T-shirts of the different characters on their T-shirt. It was like going to Super Bowl with jerseys. I couldn't believe it.
Did you follow it? Did that gal take a bad beat? Was she going to win that got kicked off for the tweet?
I have no. I never watched it. I didn't see any of it. No, I have no idea. No clue. Did you? Okay.
No, but it was big news. The girl The girl got kicked off the show for some
Well,
tweet.
my Twitter feed was always like inundated with this stuff. I don't follow it, but is that something you could do? Like, let's say we get another TV show that's like the size of Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or The Sopranos, where it's like once a week you got to wait for it, and here's the season finale in the summertime. Could you guys play that out there?
Yeah.
You could.
We definitely could. We definitely want to again, but it's got to be the right time. You know, I mean, there's a few people that may have had other plans and weren't planning on seeing Love Island. You know, but no, we're definitely planning on doing that. You know, we've done a few movies out there, but it's got to be when there's not sports on. I don't want to get too screwed up about this. We're a sports venue, but this was pretty good.
Didn't you show Meg out there?
Yeah, we
Imagine
showed.
what that looked like.
Yeah, the shark movie.
Yeah.
We showed that one.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right.
You're a Tigers guy.
Yes.
You've loved them your whole life.
Yeah.
What's your level of concern right now? Losers of 7 of 8. They've scored only 20 runs in those games, and 7 came in one game.
Yeah, the moment Paul Howard sends me a text saying, "Hey, would you trade your entire farm system for Skeens?" and I say, "No." It's been downhill ever since, right? McGonigal went, by the way, he went to number 1 prospect in all of baseball.
Okay.
But let's see. We got Mize going tonight. Let's see what happens. They got to break out of a funk. They had a tough road trip at Seattle and Texas.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Scooble won that one. There's still 19 games above 500. I would not deal McGonigal. I would not deal Max Clark.
All right, stay strong.
Max Clark's the starting center fielder for the next 8 years, and McGonigal that guy could win an MVP. So the Skeens deal that never happened. But I don't know that I'm certainly not trading one of those guys for Suarez. No way.
Be nice to have a bat. All right.
Yeah, it would be.
How about Derek and Mike's invitational with the blackjack? Yankees go first. Dodgers go second.
Yeah.
And our guy Mike Sanderson took the Brewers fourth, and they win every game now.
They win. What do they won? 11 in a row now?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
First place now.
Sanderson, I liked this pick. The moment he did it, I was like, wow, I like that one.
Good odds.
Yeah, he sure did.
Got that. So are you a rock and roll? How did you like Black Sabbath? We lost Ozzy Osbourne today.
I kind of came in more in the Ozzy Osbourne era. So, like, probably my second concert or third concert of my life was Ozzy Osbourne.
Really? Randy Rhoads, Bark at the Moon, are we talking?
That was
Mid-80s,
it was
early
it was
80s?
right when Ozzy went on his own. I still remember I had Ozzy posters in my
Really?
Yeah. So I can't believe I knew he was in bad shape a few weeks ago, but I didn't realize it was this dire. So yeah, big loss for rock and roll.
I didn't know that either. But how it was, you're right. But they did the farewell concert.
Evidently, he was sick for a while, but I mean, I guess looking back, they must have known that it was pretty dire. I mean, to get here 2 weeks later and all of a sudden he's gone.
Yeah.
So they had to put that together, and it was a smashing success. But
I can't believe he made 76.
That
lived
was
a hard
amazing.
life.
Yeah.
I know. He lived hard.
He lived hard.
going
That's
through
for sure. He definitely lived hard.
Yep. So the next time we see you, what do you expect for Survivor? You're over 38% up from last year's pace.
Yeah. So we're pacing pretty well on Circus Survivor right now. I think Circus Survivor's pacing at a number like going more towards like over 16 million, I would say at this point.
Okay.
Grandissimo, next time I see you. Now I'm on assignment my next 2 sets. So okay, so I'm hoping we're at I'm hoping we're at 12 or 13 next time I see you.
Okay. And 20,000 still. We're hoping 20,000 Survivor.
Well,
you don't want to hear
that
it.
would be something. That would be something if that happened.
Yeah.
It'd be great though. I mean, think about how much fun this would be. Oh my God, it'd be unbelievable. And it also then then it sets it up for, if we have that many people, then I can say, well, we're not going to have to tweak too many rules going forward because we're just going to wait for the NFL to add the 18th game, and that's going to take care of a lot of elements of growth that match up with Circus Survivor as well.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, probably sooner than later with that.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You want to take credit for getting the taxable up to 2,000? Good job with that.
It's not done yet.
It's not done? I thought it was done.
No, it's not done.
Oh,
the taxable up to... No, we're still working. Everything's being worked on. This is unbelievable. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to get this 90% deduction. So we're working with all the politicians on the right side and left side of the aisle. But this is a big deal. We got to get this thing fixed.
For sure. Could it go higher than 2,000, by the way?
I think there's so much momentum that there's a slim chance that maybe it could. Yeah, because it has to be reintroduced. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Ultimately, you'd want it like, what, 5, 6?
At least 5.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so much better. IRS wants it at 5. It's too much work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job. See you in a couple weeks. Good job.
There you go.
Get
Stay
the
tuned.
Tigers
Prime
tomorrow.
time next for 4 hours. Tim Murray and Matt Humans. Good luck with the bets tonight. We'll see you.